Alright everybody, how goes it? Hope you're all well. Well, this is the TV edition of the Laguna Seca race for the manufacturers that we did, and let's see how we got on. The full qualifying and the on-board, the live footage, is the video just before this one, if you wanted to watch that instead. So it was a 15-lap race, and you had to use all the tyres. Qualifying didn't go too great. I think I was 12th, wasn't I? We'll find out in a second. I think I qualified 12th. So the plan was to do a strategy that was totally opposite to everybody else, to try and move us up the field. Normally, and most probably, the majority of these guys are starting on the soft tyres. They'll then go to the mediums, and then they'll do the hard tyre at the very end. So I planned to do the opposite of that. So I was starting on the hard tyre. I planned to do one lap, then come in for the mediums, do a stint on the mediums, probably 4 or 5 laps, and then finish the race on the soft tyre. Yeah, 12. There we go. So yeah, not a brilliant qualifying. And because I was starting on the hard tyre, I was a bit worried about that Audi TT behind me. With it being fast on the straights, I was a bit worried about being taken out on this first lap due to him. Well, he's bound to be a lot quicker if he is on softs. So yeah, the plan was to do one lap on hard tyres, and the theory behind that was when I pit, I will come back out in totally clean air, and I'll be able to just concentrate on putting fast laps in. And of course, starting 12th, the biggest worry was, where is the game going to start me? And of course, I was bang on right in the middle of that corner. So I didn't get the fastest of starts, but at least the TT that's fast in this straight behind me would have got an even worse start. So a little bit sketchy on the brakes there, went a bit too deep, which allowed the TT up the inside. So I decided just to let him, I was going to let him go, but I managed to hold it off. And as you can see, there's a lot of cars sending themselves to Narnia, mainly due to cold tyres. So I let the TT go there, and I was planning on using his slipstream for the rest of this lap. I wasn't impressed with that VW. He forced his way through on the inside there, which I thought was a bit rude, but instant karma. He outbraked himself into the corkscrew there. So here we come for the first pit, so that's the hard tyre out the way. lose a lot of time in the pits here at Laguna. I think it's roughly 20 seconds. So I knew I was going to come out in clean air. So there we are, clean track in front of us, fresh medium tyres. I didn't refuel, so the car was a little bit lighter and I was able to push now. So the Nissan behind there had the same idea. Now I didn't know which tyre the Nissan went onto. If he went onto softs, I was definitely in trouble. If I went onto mediums, I was still in a little bit of bother really, because as we all know, the Nissan is very fast in the straights, so I expected him to catch me up fairly quickly really. Bit of a moment there on cold tyres. I outbraked myself into that corner, which allowed the Nissan to catch me right up, and he decided to push me wide, ram into the side of me, which is why I was flashing my lights. He didn't make a very clean move at all there. And it was at this point I was a bit gutted. He put his hazards on, I assumed to say sorry. But if you're sorry for something, you let that person back through and take the position back. But he didn't. He just carried on. But with it being the Nissan, I thought, oh, okay, fair enough, let him go. I'm not going to be able to keep up with him because that car's so quick in the straights. But that's not how it turned out. He was actually quite slow in certainly a lot of the corners, and he ended up slowing me down quite a bit, which did hinder the strategy a lot. So it looks like the car behind me there at the moment also had the same strategy thoughts. So here you can see I've caught him right up, and this is where he starts slowing me down. But because of that Nissan being fast on the straights, I couldn't capitalise on it, I couldn't get past him. So he started to ruin our race really right from the very start. See, even in the slipstream there's no way that the Porsche can keep up with the Nissan and have enough momentum at the end of the straight to get past him. So all I could do at the moment was just follow him. See, he kept going defensive, and the Porsche just didn't have enough guts to get up past him, even though he was making mistakes. So this hindered the strategy a lot. As I said, it's the reverse strategy of what the majority of the field does, so it should work, but with this slow Nissan in front of me, slowing me down, it did put the strategy sort of out the window. see how much he's pulled away there on that straight. He's got no chance of, I mean, that first corner there is a good overtaking opportunity. But when you can't keep up with the guy in front in the first place, it doesn't help you at all. And as you can see, I was catching him through these corners. I could have gone for the move there, but he just turned in on me and closed the door, so I had to back off the gas. And I couldn't get through. I could have done what he did and push his way through, but I'm not that type of driver. And of course that was backing us up into these two guys behind us, who, if I remember rightly, turned out to be dirty drivers as well. I was lucky there that he managed to anchor up enough time to stop himself from going into the back of me. I was looking in my mirrors and I could see him coming, but I was in front and I had the racing line, so I just took the racing line, and luckily he stopped himself. So a bit of a train forming here behind the Nissan. See how much he pulls away on the straight. So trying to attack and defend at the same time is not the easiest of things to do. Unfortunately, the Porsche behind me there just carried a bit more speed than me through that last corner, so he managed to get his nose in front, and the same there with the Mercedes. So at this point in time I was just gathering my thoughts, thinking, well, hopefully those two guys will press on, cause a bit of trouble with that Nissan, and maybe we'll be alright. But at this point in time I was just happy to be sat in someone's slipstream and hopefully making up time. So I think that's three laps I've done on the mediums now. So you can see the guys that started on softs are starting to come in for the pits now. Went a bit deep into that corner there, which lost me a bit of time. Alright, Jack, mate. So in theory the reverse strategy was sort of working at this point. Yes, I'd just been overtaken by those two guys, but I was quite happy that I was staying in their slipstream and hopefully making up time in order to do the undercut on the majority of the others. Not a lot, Jack. I think we're only on lap 5 or 6. We started 12th, did a reverse strategy to everybody else. So we started on the hard tyre, did 1 lap, and I think this is me getting rid of the mediums. So I assume this will be lap 6 or 7, I can't quite remember. And the plan was to finish the rest of the race on the soft tyre, and hopefully undercut everybody that started originally on the softs. So that's me fueled up till the end of the race, and I've used all the 3 tyres. I'd imagine the majority of the field have probably still got 2 stops to do. So the plan now was to push as hard as possible in clean air, try and do qualifying laps as best as I can, and see where we end up. But as you can see, the Mazda in front, I'm not sure what tyre he was on, but we do start to catch him up, and again he does sort of hinder the strategy a little bit. The Mazda, very, very planted car, very stable car, and also very good round here, so it was difficult to try and get past him. So we've caught him right up there, but I was almost alongside, which is why I wasn't in his slipstream. But as you can see, the power that Mazda's got, he just started to run away from me. And without going for a dive into that first corner, which would risk taking us both out of the race, I just wasn't prepared to take that risk. So I had to stick behind him. So we're in the similar situation here to what we were with the Nissan. Fast car in front that accelerates well on the straights. They're not easy to get past. But he did make a mistake there. He went wide, dropped a wheel. So we managed to get up the inside. Thankfully, we're back in clean air. So now it was a time again to push. The majority of the people that started on softs would be coming in for their pit stops either now or in the next lap, I would have thought. The only problem with doing these TV editions, I don't know what lap I'm on. I want to keep this. I could put all the details up, but I want to keep the screen clean. Doesn't that livery look good? So you can see how much that Mazda was slowing us down from the gap that I've managed to pull out on him. So I assume he probably wasn't on the soft tyre. He was probably on the mediums, and he's just done his second pit stop. So yes, he's still going to be faster in the straights than I am, but cornering wise, the soft tyre will overtake that any day. No, that's why I don't do dailies. Unlucky Jack, mate. Stick to FIA these days, mate. So as you can see on that last lap there, a lot of people were coming in for their pit stops. So we've gained 6 positions there. So we're in 10th. We started 12th. So well, actually we've come back down to 13th there. But you can see that the strategy was working. Those cars that have come out in front after their pit stop probably still had to pit and put the hard tyre on at some point. So I assume they're on mediums and I'm on 1 lap old soft tyres, so I should start to catch them up fairly quickly. '85 SR? You been a naughty boy, Jack? Or is it not your fault? I had a little bit of a moment there. The Porsche in front, he anchored up quite hard into that corner, so I almost went into the back of him, but managed to slow it down, and I could see now that because of that the Mercedes was all over my trumpet. So a good move there from the Mercedes, a bit of a dive, and you couldn't quite see it there on the screen, but he did tap me from the side, which put me out a little bit, which is why I flashed my lights at him. So I wasn't too impressed with that. It was a bit late, I thought. Yeah, I know what you mean, Jack. The penalty system, it still needs, still not fixed. The penalties in this race, to be honest, were few and far between. From the twice that I've already been taken out and ran wide, none of them got penalties. So again, on that last lap, a few people more pitted, so we're up to 12. And again, you can see I got a tap again from Mr. Elite there, but luckily it didn't affect the car too much. So here you can see the strategy's working, up to 10th now. So the cars that started on softs have probably done their medium stints, and are probably putting the hard tyre on for the last few laps, whereas I only did one lap on the hards. But there is a balance. Brand new hard tyres are going to be probably just as quick as worn softs, and my tyres were starting to show signs of wear. Yeah, it's all topsy-turvy, isn't it, Jack? So as you can see there, that was a major takeout by, I think it was the Mercedes, the silver Mercedes. Got a big tap from behind, coming out of the corkscrew, and then going into that next corner, he decided to hit me again, whilst the car was already unbalanced, which just sent me off to Narnia, and time to get me a bucket and spade out. But I managed to recover the car with not too much damage to the position, so I managed to hold on to 11th there. Yeah, I think you're right. The two Mercedes had a joint plan there to get me out of the equation, and they were successful. I was pushing really hard now on half dead tyres, but I knew that the car behind was going to be quick in a straight line, and the car in front, which is exactly the same as mine, I knew he was going to be difficult to catch due to the performance. You know, we're both in the same car. Unless I am literally a few tenths quicker here and there, I'm not going to catch him. But I think we were fairly evenly matched. But I was worried about the Toyota catching me in a straight line. It's the only bad thing about the Porsche. It's good on tyres, it's good on gas, it's good on the corners. It just lacks a bit of oomph when it comes to acceleration. That's the only thing that lets it down. I don't know why he was the Toyota behind was flashing his lights at me. I think he was trying to put me off, but that doesn't work with me. I only start looking in my mirrors when I see the nose of the car behind in the radar. I know that's when he's close enough to be concerned that he's there. So in theory he was just wasting his time. Judging by the, I was just going to say, judging by his car movements, he's quite erratic, so he should have concentrated on his driving a bit more rather than flashing his lights. So there we go, finishing 11th. So started 12th, finished 11th. So if I hadn't have been taken out twice and nudged on the second or third lap, I think it was, if we'd have been able to get a clean race out of the other drivers, I reckon that strategy would have got me up definitely into 8th, 9th, possibly 7th if I had have had a really good race. But unfortunately it wasn't to be due to dirty driving. So 11th it had to be, and we did lose DR. I think it was only 160 something, so it wasn't too bad a hit. And I think it wasn't too bad a hit because we were 16 in the room, as you can see, and we did advance one position from our starting position. So yes, I was gutted, but not too gutted. And I didn't have time to go again because it was the Samba bus race night, which is going to be the next video coming up. So I'm going to end this stream now, start a new stream with the Samba buses. There's two. There's one from Sardinia Windmills, which is the off-road, and the one after that is the tarmac race from Kyoto Driving Park. So there's two more races coming up from the Samba bus. Won't be any commentary on that. I'll just let the replay play. Yeah, Jack, I've got all the replays from the Samba, not saved. I delete them as I put them on the channel. You can watch the earlier races. Of course, they're only from Dotbag's point of view, but the other races are there. So yeah, I'm going to end this stream now. Thanks for watching, guys. I shall see you all in the next one. I can share the last two, Jack, but they're the only ones I've got. If you wanted to watch the previous races, like I say, all you can watch is what's on the channel. But like I say, they're only from Dotbags' point of view. Right guys, I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.